Hello everyone and welcome to tonight's Workshop Wednesday. I'm joined tonight by Matt.
How are you? How is everybody?
How are we all doing? Is the sound all okay?
Can you hear me? Can you hear Jamie? And can you hear the game?
There we go, open the door. So, someone requested for a 101 DMU, so that is exactly what we're going to get today.
Very nice. On the Weardale and Teesdale as well. What an amazing route this is. Do you want to just show the map so that people can just get... If you're not familiar with this route, this is just... oh, hello. Hello, Mr. Gronk. But yes, this route is an amazing network of crisscrossing lines and challenging gradients, some of which are like 1 in 29. Yeah, it's fantastic fun, this route. If you look back in the YouTube archive on the channel, you should find an interview I did with Derek when we launched the route, when he sort of went through a lot of the why he made it and all the processes of it, went through all his early reference material. It was a fascinating session.
There we go, and we're off.
We're off.
Thanks, James. I thought you'd like the railway shirt on. And Liam, thanks. Yeah. One of the Locos has driven 9F.
Where's the hang up button? What's the route called, Scott? This is Weardale and Teesdale. Weardale as in one word, not as in strange alcoholic drinks. Commander Thought.
Yeah.
Go on, you go for it.
I was going to say 101 BR class DMU, which has very interesting gears.
It took 7+ years. It basically was a personal project to model Bishop Auckland that sort of became Bishop Auckland and everything around it. So it was there's a lot there, and just at a point the project was transferred into Derek. Basically transferred it into Dovetail, and Dovetail then took it and did lots of scenery work to be able to finish it off, because on his own this would have taken, this would still been going, I expect. It's a lot of work here.
I do love the gear changes.
101s are the best.
Yeah.
And Danny says someone made a third rail version of it on Workshop. There you go. So you can run superior traction on here as well. See, whenever I see a shot like that, there's a theme tune playing in my head every time. Doesn't even need to be a little blue engine. Morning, Hentis. Alright, Scott is asking for some history on the 101s, Jamie.
Yeah, give me a minute. Let me just stop here nicely, and then I'll get you the history.
No background tonight. What do you mean? I've got a background. You don't think I'm always in a class 91 cab, do you? Let me change the background, shall we? Let us change. What shall we change it to? What haven't I had in a wee while? We prefer the sheer number of doors on the 117. Yeah, I quite like 117s as well, actually. They've got the taller windows on the front as well. The 101's got these little postage stamp ones, but both cool. James, nothing gets by you, does it? Yes, you're right. It's HST.
There we go. So, 101. Let's get the history for you. So, BR Class 101 and 102s. The 101 and 102s, diesel mechanical multiple units, were built by Metro Camel at Washwood Heath in Birmingham, England, between 1956 and 1959. Following construction of a series of prototype units, these classes were provided to be some of the most successful and long-lived BR first generation DMUs, second in longevity only to the Class 121s. The final units being withdrawn onto the 24th of December 2003. The oldest set was 47 years old. So yes, oh hello, I'm speeding. Give me a second. So yeah, there was a lot of. I remember there were a lot up this way, but they were formed of 2, 3, or 4 car sets. There's 41 cars altogether of the 101s and 102s preserved. That's quite good going.
Oh yeah, there's lots of them.
At a maximum speed of 70 mile an hour. Weighed,
Yikes.
Yeah, 70 mile an hour.
Do you imagine being on this at 70 mile an hour?
Oh, I know. Give you
You'd
a
want
heart
to pay
attack.
extra for that ride, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I must admit, I would do.
The side of the train's got Alton Towers on it. Is that where we're going? Nope. This is one of the rides.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're running Weardale and Teesdale for those that have just joined. Bit of BR Green action.
Yeah, I think we had BR Blue last week, didn't we? No, I can't remember what we had last week.
I can't remember either. That was last week. I've been to bed at least once since then.
Yeah, I'd love to do have a go at doing the 101 again, because I do love driving it in TSW. That'd be a good challenge, wouldn't it?
When do you get more information on Rush Hour? I'm not entirely sure what the roadmap is on that front, Gaming Room, but watch this space. Last week was APT and BR Blue AI.
That's right. I knew it was BR Blue.
It was lots of Class 87s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, background is a TGV, Tim. Commander Thorne playing with Diesel Legends earlier. Love the 52 and 101. Yeah, Diesel Legends is great fun, in my humble opinion. See, out of these older gen DMUs, I must admit I kind of like the 110s, the ones that run up in Manchester way, because they're sort of like flat. They're completely flat with the windows. They've got quite tall windows on them. They just look really unusual.
Colonel Cam. That's alright, we're not speeding.
You overran Paddington in a 31. You can imagine how that ended. Badly, I should think. Come on, yes. Missing Paddington Station is it's terminal, really.
Oh dear.
When you're stopping, you need to leave yourself a bit of a buffer. Yeah. Hopefully all of the buffer, to be fair, but at least a bit. Peppy Emu fan, no, West Somerset Railway actually have a combination 115, 117. It's 2 cars of a 115 and 2 cars of a 117 that they run. This is a Class 101. Camera, Cam, the 126. Is that the Transpennine? Or am I thinking it's 124? Can you run out of fuel? Yes, you can, Scott.
Yeah.
There is a fuel gauge in most trains. It just takes ages to run out of fuel.
We've actually got 3 101s in North Norfolk. We've got two cars and a single driving car as well.
Well, the last time I went up there and did a route survey, which was a very long time ago, the guy that chaperoned us around the railway was looking after a 2-car 117. They just got in, not 101. They just got in and were repainting.
Yeah.
It was an old regional rail, I think, and it was
that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think we had a 117 before. That then went. And we had the 101, but we've now got the NRM's 101.
Yeah. Remember when you could actually go places and do surveys? It just seems like a freakish idea these days, Nitrax, to actually go places and look at the railway. It's just weird. Just can't believe you look back on sort of 18 months ago and you're just like, wow, the reckless abandon we all lived with.
I mean, it's like I went to Statfold Barn, not too long ago, and just amazing. It was just like being normal, but yet you had to wear masks. It was really weird, very weird.
It is odd. This whole going outside thing will never catch on. 124s for the Transpennines, yeah, that was it. Because I quite like the 124s. My dad's got a nice 00 gauge model of one, quite an old one now. I think it's a Triumph. Four-car first-gen DMUs. Yeah, it'd be nice to get some more first-gen DMUs in. Going outdoors is much hyped. Better off staying in and playing trains, says EC. I concur. Although I did just enjoy my little ride out. I went to go and pick my wife up from. She was at a leaving party for somebody, and it was. I got put a roof down on the car out there. What a lovely drive! Beautiful day today. Driving trains would be amazing night tracks in real life. Yes. I've yet to find anyone crazy enough to make that happen for me, though. Just saying, if anyone's feeling it, What class were the parcel DMUs? Good question. I want to say like 129s or something like that. British Rail Class 129 was a class of single-car diesel multiple unit built in 1955 British Rail. Only 3 were built by Cravens and were introduced in 58, built for parcels traffic like the Class 128. Yeah, 128 is probably the one you're thinking of. Built by the Gloucester Railway Carriage and Wagon Company. And there was only 10 of those built. And at some point, I want to, do one of those driver training type days, but they're expensive. So, well, that's not the right word. They cost a fair bit of money. I wouldn't say they're expensive. That's saying something I'm not meaning to say. And mail trains are your favourite ones, though, aren't they, Moggy?
I did cheat a little bit there, but that was because I was going too fast.
I could sense some panic. I could sense some panic, honestly.
He was just like, it's not really slowing down. There's the one thing about these units, they don't really slow down very quickly. Oh dear. So it's like, all the brakes, handbrakes on, everything on. I lost some points, but there we go.
Hey, Mega Sim. Yeah, the driver for a fiver thing has happened. Now, I've driven a little shunter on a driver for a fiver thing. 16 yards down a piece of track and back again. It was good fun, though.
I've done loads of driver for a fiver. I think that's how I've got most of the Locos I've driven, really, to be honest. Mana 9F B12.
Here he goes.
There we go.
Here he goes.
Hall. Y14. 4MT. WD. Hunslets.
Come on, signal.
There we go.
Well, I've been in the Javelin cab a couple of times, Mega Sim, although not driving it. But I have been in the Javelin simulator, the big one based on the real thing. That's quite fun. I drove a train into St Pancras. No, I didn't crash it.
.105.
See, the 105s I quite like, with the 2-car DMU with 2 windows at the front. It just seems like it's like there's something about the proportions which are balanced. Barnet Castle. Is that as far as this one goes, or we didn't turn around and go back the other way again?
Oh, just as far as Barnard Castle, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got 3 tonight we're running. 3 countries.
Cam, when you stop, you pop it back in neutral. In fact, as you're coming down to slow down, before you stop, you pop it back into neutral.
Swedish Y7. No, I don't think I have. Kibby, I haven't seen that. Is that based at Neem Valley, perchance?
We had the 465s retired from the main line and being taken into storage. It doesn't surprise me, Liam. I hadn't heard that, but it doesn't surprise me.
Going into a bay platform.
There's a whole lot of new trains coming onto the network, so...
It's quite amazing. I think this is the most amount of new trains that we've ever had, sort of like, when you look into it. Signal box view.
Shame so many of the new trains are cracking up. Well, yeah, there is that.
Another 101 over to the side. Gronk!
Oh, is that where the 707s are ending up, Danny? The 707s are the ones that SWT bought and then immediately mothballed, aren't they? Or handed them back or something, because they weren't what they wanted or something daft.
$25 with the diesel tender.
Very nice. SWT ordered, SWR didn't want. There you go, yeah.
Got another Gronk over here. 101. Another brake tender. Great job, you made it to Bardner Castle on time. Lovely jubbly, I'll take that. That is lovely jubbly. Right, let's move on to the next country.
What's the next country, Jamie?
Moving over to Austria now.
Ooh, very nice.
There we go.
That's a lovely shot.
It's gorgeous, isn't it?
I do like the 59s. Oh, the 707s are already running up and down the line, are they?
Yeah, is that the Welsh ones,
Might
isn't
have
it? Transport... Is it Transport Rails, those ones? 707...
Southwest trains.
Oh, Southwest Trains. I know there's another class that's just been brought into... Or they're just now trialling, aren't they?
Yeah. No, these are the SWT ordered the 707s. Then the spec came out from DFT about what the franchise requirements were, and the 707s didn't meet it. So SWR, when they took over the franchise, had to put them back. And Southeastern have taken them, so they're running down here. Identical to the Thameslink 700s. Are they? Oh, I didn't realise they're identical to the 700s. So there's nothing to see then, basically, except the number's different. Which obviously means it's entirely different.
You are driving a passenger train from Malens to
Schwarzach.
Schwarzach. Pick up passengers and wait for departure. So this is the newly released Tarrenbahn. So I thought we'd show that. Some rain off the windows.
Oh, they're red. Well, that means they're entirely different, Danny. Different number and they're red. Wow. As someone who probably won't be riding the trains, I don't care what the insides look like. It's just a reskin. Ouch! That's at least 10 quid in a swear jar, Danny.
Turn the instrument lights on. Before you ask, no, I haven't got LZB on.
What about PZB though?
No, I haven't either.
Shall we all sit here tutting for a while? Tusking and tutting.
Right, we're off. Bad Castine next.
Any news on flying passengers? Not yet, no. The problem is it's one of those things that when you actually attach the debugger and you go looking for it, the problem never occurs. It's really difficult because they've got to be watching it when it happens and it's random.
There we go, Israel. Thank you for that. It was the 197s. Yeah, that was what I was thinking of. They've got this really weird shaped front, haven't they?
Let's have a look. Kind of like a 380 almost, like a flat-fronted 380.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or more like probably a 385 actually. Are these Hitachi then?
I'm not sure.
CAF. They're
CAF.
CAF. I mean, they can repeat the fault, or, you know, they can see it happening, Scott. The problem is that when they then attach the debugger, it's gone. It doesn't happen again. You know, it's just like any random problem. It's just a pain. So, but no, it's they keep looking.
Right, we're now going to cut through the Alps now.
Some of it's just about working out, you know, hypothesizing what the problem might be, and then trying to add extra sort of logging so that hopefully you can see these things happening. And then try and hypothesize back and back further through until you can find the likely cause. The front end of a 377 on a bad day. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. Are you a random problem? No, you're a consistent problem. Maybe that's different. Are these the same as the black ones on Hamburg Lübeck? Yeah, Kebape. These are what OBB call, is this a 1016?
Yep.
So this is the original, because they've got the 1016s, the 1116s, and the 12s. Have they? I think they've got 3 generations of these things.
Yeah, I can't. There's the 1116s, aren't there? The 3.
Yeah.
One, yeah.
I'm sure there's got the 1216s as well.
Depends. I think maybe the rail jets might be them.
Yes, they do have. OBB have. OBB assigned the protected name Taurus to class 1016 and later the 1116 and 1216.
Okay. Yeah. I think I've got the 11. I've either got the 10 or the 1116 in model form. I'd have to double check that one.
So the 1016 is an ES64U. The 1116 is an ES4U U2.
Right.
And the 1216 is an ES64 U4, I think.
Right.
Yes. So universal locos as opposed to the Fs, which are the freight locos. But I think they all look like this. But it's just different variations of them.
Yeah.
Oh, 1016 says, sorry, Nico says 1016 is domestic, 1116 is international dual voltage AC, 1216 is quad voltage, so it's about international travel.
Well, there we go then.
Scott, how does it work for, say, GTA 5 there? People do all sorts, but it seems you guys are struggling. It was totally different. They probably got a couple more people on their team, Scott. Last I looked, GTA 5 was a little bit of a bigger game. It's just time, skill, attention to it, and so forth. They've probably got an entire character team dealing with coding, art, and so forth, and behaviours. We don't. What's my favourite train sim route? I mean, it's difficult to say one favourite route. It depends what I'm trying to do. I do quite enjoy the Weirdo one we were just running, but it's not necessarily my favourite route. I don't have favourites these days. GTA 5's budget was something like 100 million. It's a little more than we get to play with, to be fair.
That's amazing.
$265 million.
Wow. There you go, breaking down. Do we hit the 100?
Yeah, if Mount Florida is a good place to repo it, I will pass that on to Jackie. More, Hentis. Much more.
That'd be a game and a half, wouldn't it?
That'd be about, you know, a lot more than a game and a half, I tell you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's your monthly treats allowance. Don't lie.
Look at this. Original ball and the new ball. Look at that.
Oh, very cool.
More waiting to get into the tunnel. Oh! Look! It's one of those. It's a car... Oh, you know what I mean.
Car transport.
It's a car transporter. So it's a car transport station, this. Wow, that's really cool. I did wonder if it was, considering the length of the tunnel.
I've not seen it on the PS5 yet, Kona 37, but it certainly looks nice on my Series X. How to change destination. Different trains do it in different ways. Sometimes it's control 5 and 6, sometimes 9 and 0, sometimes other control keys. So look in the manual. Each train's got different controls for it. Some of them you can't do it.
Got a single line section now.
All that fresh air. Falling asleep now.
You always do that when we have a stream.
It's just trains. They put me asleep. It's so relaxing.
Ignore the camera. I'm trying to do some camera work while trying to keep an eye on the speed. It's not very easy.
We'll get someone to have a look at the menus. They're not supposed to be doing that, Mike, but it sounds like something. The frame limiter's gone on the menu. There used to be one there.
Me trying to be hi-fi with the camera. Badgestein.
Hardest route to do in TSW or TS. I guess that depends on what you mean by hard. What do you find hard? Like, for example, I did a 2.5 hour scenario on Sandpatch Grade last night. There's some might define as being quite hard, you know, to keep going for 2.5 hours. But limited power scenario on Clinchfield is pretty darn tough, but really good fun. Not sure what else, to be honest. A lot of train stuff I don't find necessarily particularly hard, other than maybe trying to keep to the time frames and so on and so forth. But no, limited power on Clinchfield on TSW I thought was really good. I think the gameplay team knocked that one out of the park. Not just the gameplay team, because what makes it hard is the physics, the route, you know, it's all the way it all comes together. Oh, hardest to develop? Oh god, no idea. I mean,
Interesting how they put these sound, like the barriers all the way. It must be for sound, mustn't it?
yeah, probably.
Look at that.
They look like sound barriers. You find fish shunting quite challenging. Indeed, and caboose movement and stopping at Nebworth. Yeah.
Or even getting to Nebworth.
No, that's your problem, not mine. I'm putting water in. Yeah. I'm closing the firebox door at tunnels.
Yeah, tunnels, yeah, that's another one. Got the new Locos, look, the new Vector. I think these are Vectors.
Ooh, Vectrons.
Vectrons.
They're nice. Nigel, we are currently in an RBB 1016 ES64U, and we're on, what route did you say we're on?
Town Barns, just recently.
Town Barn.
It's just been released.
Red signals? Nah, they're just hints, Danny. It's fine.
It's just to give you guidelines, that's all.
Oliver, are there any plans for West Coast Main Line or East Coast Main Line? All of our plans that we've talked about publicly, you'll find on the roadmap. And if it's not on the roadmap, you know, blah blah blah. But would love to do something like that, but it's not something we're looking at right now. Downhill on a Rosa line is quite challenging. Downhill on Clinchfield can be quite challenging. In fact, downhill on the C40 pack for Sandpatch Grade, there's a downhill run in the snow that will test your ability to operate the brakes properly. Ursula Dovetail multiplayer now. No. Want to do multiplayer, but more news later on, if there is any news to be had. There's no news right now, though. We're busy. Hey, Peyton Brown, how's it going?
Now, the next stop, Bad Hofgestein. Little interesting fact. I did a skiing holiday there.
Very nice.
And I can remember seeing, it was first ever, or second trip to Austria. First ever time I'd actually seen Austria, because I was a baby when I went the first time. But the second, I remember there was a massive great viaduct, and you could see the trains going over top. But underneath there was like the cable train, the funicular railway underneath. So you had two railways, and they used to pass each other. It was brilliant fun watching them. While you're waiting for your bus to go in the mountains.
Good. Yeah. Danny says, why do cab doors have two handles? Well, this is why. If you are in a station and you are on the platform, then the door is at normal door handle height. However, if you are not at a station and you're standing on the tracks, the door is now unreachable. So they put the door at the door handle at a lower height so that you can access the door from the bottom of the ladder, essentially. The traction motors, Mike, on the BR on these 1016s are quite well renowned for playing their octave scales.
Very musical.
It is intentional. They tuned the motor frequencies specifically for that purpose.
Really?
Mhm.
I did not know that.
The real ones actually have a screen inside, a mode on the well, as one of the screens. I think it's the right-hand screen, where you can actually you can make it play different tunes.
No.
Yeah. There's
I'd
a
love to have
YouTube
a go
video
there.
I think I watched about it. It's alright, you don't need score.
Yeah, I don't need score, it's fine. Cows.
Cane Creek preview is on Friday. Yes, Scott? There will be another stream tomorrow. It'll be Jamie and myself again. And we're looking at Tehatsby Pass.
We are, yeah. It is out tomorrow, for those who want to know.
I'm looking forward to seeing it. It's an epic route in reality.
Yeah.
Jamie will be driving and I shall be, giving the commentary in the background. I'm still trying to figure out how to get another hard drive into my other machine so that I can get TS back on again. Oh dear, I thought I had a plan, and then someone threw a bunch of spanners in that and taught me about PCI Express lanes and how I basically didn't have any left. So no, not me, baked bean kid, never. Levi, you want to know that even though you're starting to grasp PCB, it still drives you crazy. It will until you finally grasp it, and then it still will. But at least you'll enjoy it more.
Single line section again.
Have I ever built a route? No. I do not have any... Oh, look at this. I do not have artistic skill at all.
You see, that's the original bridge, and that's the more modern bridge. Oh, that's clever. You see the original track bed, look, there you go.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that cool? And I'm speeding again. Doesn't matter, we don't need points.
It's a new territory pass. John Copping.
Yeah, I think it was... I'm trying to remember which bridge it is. I might be further... I think it's this one, yeah. I think it's this one that I used to watch them go up. So there's actually a funicular in the middle there. I'm sure it's that
Oh,
one.
right. Well, I looked on GPU-Z, Volmic, and it says my graphics card is using X16. Sound card is in an X1 slot. So, from what I gather, if I plug something into the X8, I'll half the graphics card down to X8. And I can't use the X4 because there's an M2 slot in the second M2 slot. But one option I've been thinking was, well, I can get a double riser in a single X4 card. So I take the existing disc out and put 2 discs into a double riser on the X4 slot and take the M2 effectively off the board. But I don't know if that just means I get half as much bandwidth to the M2s then, and I don't know. I'm still looking into it. Nothing's easy anymore with PCs. This is why I like consoles. Controversial. Are they the same IC coaches as TSW2? I don't think they are the same coaches. I mean, these are the RBB, rather than the Eurofinas, I think they are. But don't think they're the same class. They might be. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was one of these. You used to look over there, and it was either this one or it was one of these. Yeah, it was, because it was a double viaduct. And there used to be, there's a funicular that goes up. It was one of these viaducts along here, and you used to stand down here somewhere. There was a massive great car park, and you just used to look up, and you can just see the trains sort of trying to get round all the. It was absolutely amazing.
Mm.
Yeah, it's got to be there because it gets lower. Yeah, it's definitely there.
Yeah, I might just take the sound card out for me, to be honest. Is there, I presume, regenerative braking to manage speed? This has electrical brakes, yeah. You don't have to use air brakes when you're coming down. This has got electric brakes, which I'm sure Jamie is correctly using.
No, would be the answer to that.
He's using air brakes and he's zigzagging it. Are there any freight trains? Yes, there are freight trains. Depends on the route, depends what you're doing, but there are tons of freight trains on the various routes. Not sure what there is on this one. Well, we did pass a freight train earlier on in the station. There was a car transporter train.
It's probably because we keep going on the single lines, but we are in the Austrian Alps.
Evening, DB Spotter. Scott says, Jamie, what's your job in Dovetail?
I am a community manager, mainly looking after Train Simulator.
I make the tea. But as I work from home, my job got a lot easier. All my customers are now 100% satisfied.
Vaping kid, yeah, I'm in charge of the knobs. There you go, yeah.
Russian Doge, is this PZB? Well, you know, should be, but Jamie Wimptow.
Yeah. Plus I need to learn it in TS more.
Better than coffee. You know what, Scott? I drink a lot more coffee than tea these days, but it's mostly down to being bone idle. Because I got a coffee machine that I just press a button and coffee comes out. and tea is at least one step harder than that, so I don't do it. What do you guys like more, EMU, DMUs, or haul passenger trains? Depends what I want to do. Generally speaking, I like variety. You know, if every train in the game was one or the other, I'd get bored of it. What I like is variety. I tend to split my time up and do some freight, some passengers, some EMUs, some loco hauls, some DMUs, underground trains. I just drive all. Fast trains, slow trains. I drive them all. Keeps it really interesting. Coffee first. Coffee first or milk? Depends what I'm making. I mean, if it's like instant coffee, then I'll generally make the coffee and then pour the milk in the top. Like in tea, it's, you know, obviously milk goes in second, or you're just broken as a person. You do not let the milk touch the tea bag. That's just, do not make that mistake. And if it's a latte macchiato, the milk's got to go first, because otherwise it's not a latte macchiato. If you have never played this game but would like to, can you play it on your iPhone and live stream it? Using something like xCloud on Microsoft's cloud streaming service? Yes, you can. TSW 2020 is available. This one isn't. This is Train Simulator. This is only available on PCs. The Train Sim World 2020 is on Xbox Game Pass, which is accessible via xCloud and can be used on your phone. I'm not sure about iPhones though. Actually, I don't know whether they solved the xCloud on iPhone problem, but I've played it on my Android phone. You know, because Androids are awesome. Hence, if you don't do tea or coffee, you can't stand them. I like a mix. I haven't actually had last time I had a cup of tea. In fact, only generally at the moment getting cups of tea when I go to mum and dad's, because I'm drinking so much coffee here. Length of the route. I don't know what the length of this route is. Let me go and have a look up for you.
It's quite a long one. There you go. Look at that. Show you the map.
Go. What does it say? Town Bomb is one of the most important north-south trunk routes in Europe, carrying freight, local passenger and tourists through the central eastern Alps. The line tackles gradients as steep as 2.5% and burrows through the mountains through the 8-kilometre long town tunnel. But it doesn't actually say what the length of the route is. Oh, 79 kilometres. From Schwarzach St. Veit to Spittel an der Drau in Austria. 13 stations, and it includes the ÖBB 1016 electric locomotive with ÖBB rolling stock.
Lovely. There you go. There you go. Now we're on the flat.
Big Chase, I nearly closed the stream when you said Android's awesome. Was that an accident then? Because I can't think of any other reason you want to close the stream at that point.
Nightmare.
I've been to the Isle of Wight a long time ago now. Your dog speaks the truth. My cat certainly doesn't speak the truth. My cat's lying all the time, just about. Yeah, I haven't certainly seen the new trains yet. It was 38 stock when we went down there. And then we had a ride on the steam railway.
I haven't actually. I've been to the Isle of Wight. I haven't actually ridden on any of the railways, though I did see the 1938 stock.
Levi, so do either of you have a favourite train in the game?
You go. You go first.
Really?
Yeah.
But my answer is the usual boring. I don't have any favourites. I do like the 395 though. It is one of my favourites in the game.
I don't know actually. I can't answer either. It's got to be probably going to
You
be
know, there
what.
is one little hidden little gem that I think a lot of people might miss because it's a little one. American train called a GE44.
Right.
I love that little thing. Digital train model, DTM did it, and it's great fun. That comes in a bunch of different liveries, and you can run it on various different routes, doing Baked Bean Kid's favourite task of shunting, switching.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do quite like that because it's little. I like little trains like that. Big trains kind of gloss over me a bit.
And Nick, you'd be right. It will be Steam. I've just lost a load of points because I wasn't watching the signals. Clever me. I think for me, it's probably the Black Fives.
Oh, the BMGs.
Yeah, the BMG fives.
Yeah, I like the Mesh Tools 3F. It's probably the steam engine I go back to the most. Love driving that thing. It's a small loco crucible, but it's 44 tons specifically for a very specific reason, because they wanted to be able to drive it, have it operated without a fireman. And it's sized just under the size limit that were needed at the time, because there were basically with the sort of the switch from steam to diesel locomotives, the various unions were kind of trying to protect firemen's jobs, and they managed to get it written in that locomotives beyond a certain size required a fireman in the cab, so they just made locos smaller than that size if they didn't want to put firemen in the cab, which is where the G44 tonner came in. Yeah, the J94 is nice as well, Moggy.
Yeah.
Bringing the J94 up the Mardi is... oh, we need to do that. You need to do the 20 wagon challenge or the 30 wagon challenge.
I'll write it down.
What do you think, folks? He needs to do the 30 wagon challenge, doesn't he? Yeah? I think it's the 30 wagon challenge. That is good. That is good. Beautiful locomotive, beautiful route.
Written down. You're now at Dorfgestein.
See you later, Russian dog.
Pink trains, we've done the pump cart. We did that. I can't remember how long ago. Wasn't that long ago?
Have I tried any Caledonia works? I haven't. I think my son's bought a couple of theirs. Can't remember. He was talking about them at one point, but no, I haven't. Looks rather nice though.
Oh, Nick and Diva, don't. That would take forever. Scott, yes I can. It's just I need to learn it.
It's funny. One of Derek's things back when he was doing a lot more route creation work, like for example when he was involved, I think it was Donna Pass. When he was reviewing the route, he'd review it by driving an 08 from one end to the other.
Wow.
Donna Pass is 150 odd miles for those that don't know.
That must have taken forever.
It meant he could enjoy the look at the route though, and check the scenery in detail. You know, if you're doing a review, the goal isn't to go through it as fast as possible. Does a Class 101 come to TSW or West Somerset Railway? I know it's something that Adam is looking to do. I don't know where he's got to with that. Adam's got a long list of things he wants to do, to be fair, so have patience, give him a chance.
I didn't speed that time. What's the difference, Moggy, between the G2 Super D
It's
pack
much
version?
more. It's more. It's like it's got the newest physics setup.
Right.
So it's got better controls, better physics. It was an upgraded version of the J94 that Ed put in that pack.
Ah.
It's very nice, very nice.
See if I can do that. Swap it out.
Okay, there you go. Apparently, they said it was coming to the update for Russia. I've not been entirely following the roadmap streams, unfortunately. Oh, I'm full confidence Adam will do well on that campaign. It'll work because I've done it. I did it myself. I built a timetable for Somerset that included the 101, but I wasn't able to get it finished. So, don't you diss the J50 Moggy? I like the J50s.
Yeah, don't diss them. Absolutely gorgeous machines.
I still don't know why I like them, but I do.
It's just a very unique loco. I think that there's not many side tanks that look that size. You know, you're talking the prairies, sort of similar, but they don't go all the way up to the end. I think
How hard is it?
Sorry. I was just going to say, it shocks me that none of them survived, considering that they were still in Steam till a very, very late date. You know.
How hard is it to do timetables for a route? The process of defining a timetable is relatively straightforward. It's like Tetris. You know, the individual bits and pieces are quite easy to do. Making a train go from point A to point B, stopping up places, is easy. Shunting is easy. But now imagine that you've got to think about the life cycle of individual wagons. And it's all very well, you made a service that shunted this train about. You then need to think about what am I going to do with the wagons I've shunted. So I'm going to bring a loco in and I'm going to combine 2 or 3 of those and take them somewhere. And then if I want to do more shunting, I need to bring more wagons in. So I'll bring more wagons in, and then I'll cut those up a bit. And so you start having to build it up, thinking about what's happening minute by minute throughout the 24-hour period. That's certainly for shunting type stuff, for freight. When it comes to passenger, you're then looking at you're looking at the timetables, and what we then have to do is take the timetable, rewrite the timetable into a big Excel spreadsheet, because what you need to do is understand that when you look at a normal timetable, you're looking at a train going from St Pancras to, or let's say from Elephant and Castle to Harrow and Wealdstone, and then you're looking at other trains going in the other direction. But some of those trains are the same train. Yeah, because the train goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down. So how many trains are going up and how many trains are going down, and which ones link into which, and then how do they go into depots and out of depots, and so on and so forth. So you have to actually work out what the train is doing. Think of that train and the thing. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, it goes in the depot, out of the depot, up, down a few times in the depot, and that's it for the day. You get that kind of thing. So you start to work out what that flow is, and then you build that, try and derive that flow by looking at the timetable and thinking, well, if the train that went into Harrow and Wealdstone is probably, if it got there at 10:50, it's probably the 10:55 service on the way back. So we'll call that the 10:55 service going on the way back. It gets to Elephant and Castle at, I don't know, 12 o'clock, then the 12:05 is probably the one that the same train going back up. And so you start piecing this puzzle together about where all the trains are, and then that tells you that, oh, I need 15 units to deliver this timetable, and then you start programming all of that in. Once you've got all that done, which, believe it or not, isn't the difficult bit, Then you've got the task of trying to actually, you run a simulation of the timetable, which runs the game for 24 hours essentially, but does it at high speed, runs about 15 times faster than normal, and it records where all the trains are and tells you what worked, what got stuck because of deadlocks, what were the errors, pathing was wrong, couldn't get up the hill because it wasn't powerful enough. It gives you all these things, and they say you look at it and you think, okay, so I need to adjust these timings so that I don't have trains sat for 10 minutes, adjust these path allocations so that I'm not sitting for 10 minutes waiting to get into platform 1 when platform 2 is sitting there idle. And you then adjust that, and then you redo those simulations. And how many times you have to do that? About an hour and a half per time. Depends on how difficult the timetable is. I stopped working on Bakerloo after 150 simulations.
Wow. Blimey.
And it was still another 30 to get the cut down timetable to work properly and reliably. Now we have got some better tools now, which are a bit better. And I'm sorry, a lot better actually. But we're just starting to explore, the benefits of those and how they're working. So that should cut down some of the resimulations. Because, for example, if you say a service starts at 10 a.m., yeah, and the previous service, so let's say, for example, the service gets into Harrow and Wealdstone and then becomes the Elephant and Castle service at 10 a.m. If it gets into Harrow and Wealdstone at 10 a.m. plus 2 milliseconds, that service won't work. Yeah, the 10 a.m. service will throw you onto the streets essentially. If you've ever run a service in the game where instead of ending in the cab, you've ended up on foot some random point on the route, that's that problem. The train hasn't arrived at the right time. So you have to find all of those, adjust all the timings, and then as you adjust all the timings, obviously there's then knock-on effects. So what worked before may not work in the next time. So you end up having this knock-on of straightening a timetable out, imagining it's like a sheet on a bed that you're flattening out, and as you clear the creases on one, you create creases further on, so you just have to keep going down, and that's where it's resimulate, because you have to work out what the new flow of things is. And if you adjust timing, sometimes train A gets now in front of train B, and now chaos is now it's completely different, and all your timings are thrown out. So it's really difficult. It's really difficult in real life, to be fair. People who create timetables, use a lot of tools and knowledge and so forth to do that. So, it's not that it's difficult, because it shouldn't be. Now, there are going to be ways of making it easier, and some of that stuff we've done just recently. So this whole thing about the previous service finishing too late for the next service to start, we've kind of got a way of automating that now, so that the simulation sort of figures it out and adjusts the timetable in one hit. So that's literally just gone in. So that alone should cut off a ton of resimulations. But yeah, it's a long process, but it's a lot better than it used to be. I mean, Baked Bean Kid called out a week of 18-hour days. I mean, I don't think it's ever been that short, to be fair, Baked Bean Kid. In the early days of TSW, when I did Sandpatch Grade, for example, that was, I think, probably 18 weeks of 18-hour days. Because every simulation took 24 hours.
Wow.
It was running in real time. So we're now down to about an hour and a half. So that's a huge time saver. Then you've got, I think Great Western was quite a long. I mean, Adam built the basic timetable for Great Western with all the services in it, and then I added the freight, and then we built and then I got it all simulating and running. But I think we were down at 9 hours a time. For each simulation with Great Western. But yeah, but you know what? It sounds like a lot of work, and it is a lot of work, but it's so much fun. I really love putting timetables together. Towards the end of making a timetable, I want to throw it out. I want to scream, shout, get a new career, and just never see a PC ever again in my life. And then when it's done, I'm like, this is great. I love making timetables. When can I do the next one? It is, but it is good. It's genuinely good. It just, it's I've been working on the Boston timetable lately because Brandon did the setup for it, and so I've been making it work, and just taking a timetable that already works and making it work, as odd as that sounds, was still been about another 40 simulations. So there's a lot of work in a timetable. But then you know what? They're also hundreds and hundreds of hours of gameplay, so that's not unreasonable. It's not unbalanced.
Nothing to moan about.
Doesn't stop me moaning about it, though.
No, true.
Nothing stopped me moaning about it.
I used to know people who used to be able to write timetables for a model railway. That seemed to take forever to do that.
Hentis, so say I arrive at Harrow and Wheelstone 5 minutes late and then decide to free roam, how would dispatcher recover from my late running train? I see a runtime, it's not a problem. It will just say, when's the next service due to start? 3 minutes ago. Fine, then it starts now and gets on with it. Yeah, so it'll keep going actually. The dispatcher's relatively robust in a lot of ways. It's fragile in some, but relatively robust in other ways that you might not expect it to be. I have to say that scene coming into this station looks rather good through the windows.
Yeah.
But the so yeah, it's fine. But the key thing is the simulation has to get everything in. The idea of the simulation, as well as proving it all works, is that it needs to know, so that if you start, so you've got 24 hours, like having a scenario that you can start, it's 24 hours long and you can start it automatically in the middle anywhere. Remember when I originally described that to the engineering team, they basically looked at me as if I was completely mad, saying, that's going to be really difficult, verging on impossible, are you sure? And I'm like, yep. And you know what, it was hard. It was the engineering team worked miracles for this stuff, but so it has to get the trains in the right places at the right times, and if the train is not at exactly the right point to start the service, then it doesn't work. That's their normal look when they see you. Yes, it is, to be fair, Babe Kid. It's normally an incredulous look when I ask them a question. They're like, you again, isn't it?
You now? Oh, I know.
Do you regret having timetable mode given how difficult it is to test compared to scenarios? Absolutely not. Timetable mode is my favourite playing the game. We're getting better ways of doing testing, so we have automated load testing now for service mode, so we can have every service load tested to make sure it all starts correctly and properly, which is a relatively recent addition. So that means we can redo that test a lot more. We've got more tools with the simulation side of it, so I can see now at a glance in the simulation log where all the delays are. How many trains got stopped. Well, you almost had positive score.
I'm the minus 37, so not too bad. Right.
Yeah. I think great job is where where TS1 shows its sarcasm.
Yes, it does.
It's quotes around the outside. Great job.
Yeah. Or GGREEAATT. Great job.
Or just F.
Just fail. Right, off to the other side of the pond now. If I can find it. He says. There we go. By the way, links are in the description for all those who want to know what we're playing. So there we go. How are we enjoying the night so far? Enjoying it all?
Well, I'm enjoying it.
That's the main thing. We've got another electric loco. Oh, thanks, Bean Kid. Thanks. Continuing our work here at Walnut Creek now. It's extra 653 east. We need to reassemble our train to head back eastbound towards Concord. Oh, I missed the missed the rest of that. Turn the headlight on. So we've got to wait for our...
I love these steeple cabs. They're great.
Aren't they just lovely? Something so unique about them.
Mm. Yeah, very much so. Not enough shunting. Needs more gronk. Not enough derailments or crashes.
How
this
did
is
I
the
know that
feedback
we can...
from the gallery?
Yeah.
Right. So, who said needs more gronk?
Moggy.
Yep. Who said not enough shunting?
Baked Bean Kid.
No, I don't think Baked Bean Kid would say that. No, that was Mod LMS.
Oh, it's Mod LMS. Sorry.
Because he wants to wind up Baked Bean Kid.
Oh.
Yeah, Sacramento Northern. That's the route, Moggy.
I can now change the road.
Well, the other thing I like about the timetable mode, Hentis, is there's a psychological element to feeling like you are part of a working railway. You know, it's not just like a scenario is a moment in the life, whereas a service is, you know what's gone before it. Everything you see, you can go and drive. It feels much more like you're part of a living, breathing system.
Coming nice and steady.
We said we wanted more crashes.
Now pull forward and there we go. Right.
Evening, British Ace.
We've got to change this road behind us. Pick up the caboose.
Doing very well, thank you, British Ace.
Check switches and reverses to grab the caboose on WC stub. Joined up, let's do our brake check and get ready to go. You have clearance to take the main heading east towards Concord, observing all signals. Lovely. the brakes are off. Lovely. Yeah, we're rolling.
I love this old looking cab. Feels like I'm in a shed on wheels.
It's really weird, isn't it? It is literally, as it says on the tin, it's literally like a shed on wheels. It's really strange.
Utah Rail fan, do you mean where is this particular route? This is Sacramento Northern, which is what, West Coast? Sacramento, I presume. No, it's not the Crocodile, Pepe Emu. This is an American one called a steeple cab.
I suppose it looks very similar to it.
It does look very similar to the Croc, yeah.
Although,
I wonder if they're twin motored as well. Probably.
yeah, I reckon so.
Baked Bean Kid says, Jamie, have you ever done any of the scenarios on this route that take you across the bridge?
Do you know, I was trying to find a scenario to go over the bridge. I did find one, but I think it was a little bit long for what I'd already had planned. So hopefully we can rerun that at another point. Doing well.
Epic says, Jamie, what's your favourite German high-speed train? His is the BR407 because its CIFA is compatible with VACBA.
Have a full stop ahead at Locos Junction for SP crossing. So, what was it? Sorry.
Favourite German high-speed train?
Probably have to say the ICET. Just because
cute looking train, and it's got tilt.
Yes. What about you, Matt?
Favourite ICE? You know what? I'm going old school. ICE 1. Commanding shape, long train. 280 kilometres an hour a long time ago.
Yeah.
Magnificent bit of engineering.
I think it just amazed you about how sort of far advanced they were, weren't they, in Europe? Sort of, you know, in the early days, you know, you're talking high-speed rail and, you know. I mean, ours were quite advanced as well, but they weren't in the UK, but, you know, we didn't seem to get it quite right, whereas abroad they did, didn't they?
Well, that's pretty much, that's the British story, though, isn't it?
Yeah. No, that's true.
Yeah, the ICE3 is nice. Is nice, and I like the ICET as well. But for me, the ICE1 was just such a unique. You know, if you think about it, at the time the ICE1 came out, what it was achieving and what that meant to German railways was just amazing. What Britain are really good at, Baked Bean Kid, is putting in a short-term plan.
I was just about to say, you know, we're good at what's the word of it? Short-term plan. Stopgaps.
We are the best at the stopgap solution.
Yeah.
Where the stopgap is 45 years.
Yeah. All clear. Proceed eastbound.
You know, like the Pacer and the HST being two prime examples.
I just still can't get over the fact that HST was a stopgap. It just doesn't feel right.
I know. Yeah, BR tried doing the double-decker train. That was the 4DD from Bullard. And yeah, there have
It
been nicer ways to treat passengers.
it was more like trying to do bunk beds, weren't it? Really, it was more like a bunk bed you know. We need to take the siding at Murison to meet extra 442. Proceed with caution.
The 4DD was incredible, to be fair, because it was working to much tighter constraints than Europe were for trying to do double deckers, because they had to fit inside certain tunnels, which you can't change the width of a tunnel or the height of a tunnel. So actually, what the 4DD achieved was quite incredible. It does look a bit DNRG, doesn't it, you Toro fan?
I think now we look back at it, I think if we'd gone for the larger loading gauge, I think we would have had better railways, in the sense that we could have, had slightly larger trains. I mean, broad gauge I think would have worked, but I think larger loading gauge was the way to go. You look at Europe at what their loading gauge is. What they can fit in their loading gauge.
I'm not sure, Baked Bean Kid. I mean, I'm not sure about that. Potentially. I mean, it's only freight routes they will have upgraded like that, but...
I mean, in theory, the dreaded... Well, do I mention this HS2? I think was looked at for... He's being looked at for double-deckers. I know I saw a promo image somewhere of a double-decker for it. Might be wrong, but I'm sure I saw something.
Been asked a few times which is the best, TS 2021 or TSW2. It's really difficult to call that one, to be honest, buddy, because it depends what you want to do. TS 2021 has been around a lot longer. In some cases it will run better on lower end hardware, in other cases worse. It has a significantly broader catalogue of content, and is fully moddable. The editor is built in, and there's a bustling community of people making freeware and other payware content for it as well. So there's tons that can be done. TSW2, and TS 2021 is PC only. TSW2 is relatively newer. It's about 4 or 5 years old now, but it's available on PS4 and Xbox One. It works on PS5 and it works on Series X as well as obviously on PC. And it's done with a much newer fidelity of game engine, so it runs better on newer hardware, much better on newer hardware. But there's a lot less content available for it because it's still relatively new. But there's new content coming out all the time, so that will build up. So it's kind of a case of, if what you want to drive is a train that is in TS 2021 and not in TSW2, then it's fairly obvious what you want to pick. And if what you want to do is make your own content, then TS 2021 might scratch the itch better for you. But if you run it on a console, then TSW2 is the place to go. Or if you want to run the trains that are in TSW, then, I'm the senior producer for TSW. I am going to sing the praises of TSW. For me, if the train is in TSW, I'll play the TSW version. But not everybody agrees with that, and to each their own. My recommendation for everybody, putting aside the obvious biases and reasons for this aside, is to get both and enjoy both. There's no reason why you can't have both, as long as you're on a PC.
So we had a couple of responses. HS2 will be built apparently, so we could fit double deckers if we wanted them. So it would be built to European. Crucible said it, yeah. HS2 will be built to European specs, so large enough for a TGV duplex, 25 kilovolt, ETMS2, etc. The only thing that will stop that Crucible is obviously, I think the idea with HS2 is they want to run the Locos then onto older network. So I don't. You could do some services at it, but if you wanted to run into the old network, that wouldn't work. Nico Diva, yeah, that is a good point. Japanese double-deckers are so tight there is no room to traction govern, so motors can have to be... Yeah, no, that is very true. There is, in Japan, I don't know if you've seen it, you'll have a unit, so you'll have the two driving ends, which is like two standard deckers, and then in the middle there's like 3 coaches, which is double-deckers, because they've got no motors in them. To try and fit because they've got smaller loading gauge. That's a very good point. Yeah, Derek. I know. Texas have just approved a high-speed rail link, haven't they? Nico Diva. Yeah, I thought that was. I can't remember what class that was. I just remember watching some live streams. I watched some of the webcams in Japan, and I can remember seeing something about a double-decker.
Hentis, the Peninsula Corridor, the electrification is well underway. They've got a couple of toasters for testing, but I believe it's been put back a bit presumably because of Corona causing delays.
Coming up on Concord, we need to. We have work to do there. Full stop at Concord EB signal.
There are a few AM7s still going around, I think. But yeah, there's 2 of them, I think, that Caltrain have got for testing purposes. And then they're going to be getting the Stadler trains in. And they'll be double-decker as well. EMUs.
Me keeping an eye on the chat and not keeping an eye on the speed.
He's blaming chat again, everybody. I think you should come up in arms and express your displeasure.
Oh dear.
Mods, can we get a ban on that one, please? Thank you. We all heard and are frankly stunned.
There we go. Well, we're there. Ta-da! And we are there. A hold here while the conductor checks the switch list for Concord. Scenario complete. Continued in Walnut Creek Turn Part 6.
Awesome. There's some good scenarios you picked out there.
Yeah, well, yeah. The Tower and Barn was so the other two were workshop scenarios. Tower and Barn was the scenario that you get with the game. With a route. What am I talking about? Boo. Oh dear. It's that time of the night. There we go.
Very good. Very good. Right. Well, that's it for this evening, folks. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget, tomorrow it's Jamie and I again, and we're going to be looking at Tehachapi Pass.
Yeah.
Which is on Train Simulator, on Train Sim Classic, this one. And then on Friday, it's myself and other people that I can't remember.
I think it's... Hang on a minute, give me a minute.
Is it JD and Sean?
I think it's... Hang on. It's JD and Skyhook. So I'm not sure who's coming from Skyhook.
Sean. I think it's Sean from Skyhook that will be joining us. Okay. So, yes, it'll be JD and someone from Skyhook joining us. And we'll be taking a look at Cane Creek. That is on Friday. And that is on Train Sim World. All right. That's it from us then, folks. Take care and catch you all tomorrow.
See you later. Take care. Bye-bye.